Okay, so I'm using slobs, so hopefully, like, that didn't cut out for you guys. But I feel like it did cut out for you guys because, like, I don't know what happened there, but, like, slobs just, like, crashed on me. So, swoops. Um, Let me see. I think I can get this back up pretty quick. There we go. I'm actually going to pull this. Where is it? All right. Pull that one into there. Make that one big. Yeah, apparently there was an interruption and now I've only been back on for 50 seconds. So apologies there. I don't know what all was going on, but we'll get this finished up.
No, I ran to Jimmy about this the other day. I hate when people diagnose others online with mental disorders, and it's like there are three things wrong. Like, one, what are your credentials that qualify you to diagnose someone? Two, it's completely unprofessional and unethical to diagnose someone over the internet. You need to do typically an in-person diagnostic evaluation with follow
Or like a one-on-one interview online. It doesn't necessarily need to be in person.
up diagnostic appointments.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I love when you see people go like,
Oh,
how dare that person call someone a narcissist? That's so fucked up. Also, that person's a narcissist.
well, that was my third one that I forgot because I was like really passionately thinking about this. I feel like people alienate. I have people in my life that have antisocial personality disorder and other things, but ASPD and narcissistic personality disorder are like alienated from the rest. It's like, here are the socially acceptable mental disorders to have, and here are the non-acceptable ones.
Right.
And it's like, I'm just going to reference, if you've seen Jessica Kent, I love her. She made a video coming out where she said she was diagnosed with ASPD, and her ASPD looks completely different than the person I know. And it's like, just because someone has those, like, disorders that have been demonized, it doesn't mean they weren't hurt that got them there. It doesn't mean they're not struggling. It doesn't mean they're evil. So it's like, it just doesn't make sense. How are you going to advocate for mental health but exclude these ones?
Right. When you call somebody a narcissist, is and you literally are saying they have that condition, and you're saying it as a weapon to try and hurt them, when in reality, if you're saying somebody has that condition, you actually believe it. Honestly, I think the human reaction should be like, fuck, now I'm feeling compassion and bad, because like, if they actually have that, this is like, obviously you still hold people accountable for the actions they have, even if it's a result of those things. But if people,
But those ones specifically are demonized, and it's like, they have to be a serial killer, they're evil people, and it's like, there are people that work their ass off in therapy to like maintain the like symptoms of those disorders, but it just is really frustrating to me.
Yeah. And there's
like, if someone was like, oh, they just have PTSD or bipolar or something, people would freak the fuck out. But if they go like, they're a sociopath, they're a narcissist,
nobody cares.
No big deal.
If anything, it's the opposite. It's like, that's an acceptable weapon to use for some reason.
I get really passionate when I think about that.
I agree with that. I have somebody very close to me in my life that has a mental health condition that's like that, and it's like, it is very much sort of like weaponized against them, and it's a mental health condition.
The thing that's really frustrating too is like the amount of shit I've gotten for people reading.
I've actually lost friendships over that, where like I had a friend who was like, oh, well, this person did this thing in the past. It was like, well, yeah, like they were suffering symptoms of their mental health issues, and like they went to therapy and like worked through that. And then my friend was like, well, you know, they did this thing once. They're always a bad person. And I, you know, like, it's, no, that's not. No.
A message and going, the way I interpret this through my lens, and not even trying to figure out what he would mean by this.
Let's see if I can get
to
this
the point
done in the next 10 minutes.
Changing the meanings of things. There's a post that people keep bringing up about something I had supposedly said, where I was basically blackmailing.
If you're on
followers,
YouTube, you will
when I was
know.
talking about something from the past and a choice I was making, and they completely reframed it as I was telling the audience I was making the choice, which wasn't even close to true. And so people literally go like,
wait,
with no attempt, they're just
I'm gonna
like,
run this back.
Reading a message and going, the way I interpret this through my lens, and not even trying to figure out what he would mean by this. To the point of people completely changing the meanings of things. There's a post that people keep bringing up about something I had supposedly said, where I was basically blackmailing my followers, when I was talking about something from the past and a choice I was making, and they completely reframed it as I was telling the audience I was making the choice, which wasn't even close to true. And so people literally go like, with no attempt, they're just like, I
know exactly what he's talking about. And for those of you who are following this who don't know what he's talking about right now, he made a community post where he basically was negging his followers for not watching the Sometimes Show. That's how I interpreted it, and that's how I think a lot of other people interpreted it. And the post was, hey, go and watch the Sometimes Show. My numbers are like this. I would prefer my numbers to be like this. And if they're not by such and such a date, I will consider this project a failure. You tell me, does that sound like he's blaming his audience? Or does that sound like, he's like, oh, well, if you guys don't watch it, I consider this a failure. Well, maybe if you don't make it good enough for us to watch it, it would be a failure. But like, we're not making it a failure for you. Let's see. Oh, I can't find it on that one. It won't show me the community posts on my. Ooh, maybe I can do it on this. We do. Let's see if we click over to his channel.
am saying it's this, and I feel this way, and because I feel this way, this person's company should be gone, his livelihood should be lost, his employees. I literally saw comments of people
Well, the most important thing
celebrating
is,
that
like,
my
you're-
employees might lose their jobs if the channel goes down the tubes.
Yeah. Well, then like the most important thing is like your activism, and it's like the other things follow. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think
all the stupid guilt by association posts too, where it's like you are who your friends are, and so you're like, cool. So how come you're only counting 1 or 2 people and not the litany of activists and wonderful people who are my friends? Am I only the friends you decide are my friends?
Oh
Or am I a
no.
compilation of everybody?
I just wonder if it's like a lack of self-awareness.
Is it working
People
now?
say these things and
Yeah.
don't really think
Okay.
about what they're saying.
And it's stupid. It's literally like, okay, so what you're saying is Daryl Davis is in the KKK because most of it, like a ton of his friends were in the KKK. Those of you who don't know, Daryl Davis is a black activist who literally got people to leave the KKK.
I wonder when it
by becoming their
muted.
friends and collected their robes when
And
they
or
decided they
why.
didn't want to.
And then yeah,
Oh my God, Daryl Davis, you black activist, how can you be so racist?
like piggybacking off of that, it's like if someone is just really shitty and like you said has like sometimes indefensible views, don't you want to? I'm not saying like you're a saint and you can make someone, but having like good people around you.
Yeah.
Like when I think of when I like chose to go to church at 19 and like I was such a
You guys
hateful,
might
like,
have missed some
bitch.
We don't use
honestly.
that.
really good
I remember
rants.
myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I remember saying that to someone else, but I was so like judgmental and awful. And then when I like got away and had like super open, loving, great friends, like it does make a difference. It's not like you're trying to saint people
Right, which is the only narrative.
or
people
like you're
push, where
trying to
they're
just change someone. Like you're some amazing person that can do that. You're just you want to make a positive impact.
right. This isn't about the action, the
Thanks.
positive action I'm doing. It's about the negative action I won't do. Because that's the way that the narrative was being pushed was like,
I literally thought of something from the Bible that I think from like growing up I just wanted to say, but I refrained.
you want to say now?
Well, I just when people always talk about like Jesus, how he didn't hang out with like who was it?
The rich and the
Yeah, he hung
sinners.
out with like the sick and the sinners.
Yeah.
Wow, I have so much programming. I was talking to my nephew the other day and he like asked me a question and I really wanted to be like,
Thank you.
that's how God
You did,
works." And I wanted to
finally.
say It's such a lazy answer, but I still have moments like that. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah, people. So when people attack with it though, they're like, you're gonna be that person's friend. You just want to be their friend to change them. And
Were you like screaming at your screen? I'm sorry. You guys might have missed some really good rants there. Hopefully you weren't screaming at your screen too bad.
And when you talk about like being good friends, being friends with not great people, and it's a way to push the narrative into where it goes, oh yeah, what about that? And it's not about the action you are going to do. It's about I'm not going to reject somebody's friendship because I don't think they're good enough to be my friend. I'm going to, and I hope to be a positive influence in everybody's life, whether or not they're good or bad people or whatever.
Yeah, it's not because you're egotistical and you think you can just change everyone because you're so incredible
Right.
and great and smart and enlightened.
But I was changed when I finally was ready to listen and talk about things. I was changed by the people who stayed my friend, even when I was a horrible bigot. So like I see those.
But you
people
have to
as
have a
redemption,
line in the
like,
sand somewhere.
What made everything get better, and so I'm not going to deny somebody else that without very extenuating circumstances. And it's just really like it's so tough to see such a hatred reaction to the message of love people more, and like don't forget that people are humans even if you hate them.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that with like certain members of my family.
You might have missed
Doesn't
a
mean what
few.
I'm doing for anyone.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying you have to love everybody. And the person who molested me as a child, I hate, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to change that. And that might even be a character flaw that I've refused to forgive or stop hating that person. That
That's
could be
not a character flaw.
and I just don't really care. I'll make up for it with all the good things.
Oh my gosh, Jimmy, that is not a character flaw. You don't have to forgive everybody for every bad thing that's ever happened to you. Like, no, you don't have to forgive people. Like, it's okay to not forgive people. It's okay to like just move on and deal with it your own self. And like, yeah, maybe you need therapy and you need to deal with it on your own, but like you don't have to forgive everybody for all of the things they've done against you. Like that's no. And you don't have to be friends with somebody if you don't necessarily agree with their views. You have to decide where that line in the sand is for you.
That I've been.
There's
trying
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
to- Anyway, let me see here before we get going. Scientist Mel said, "Is that black tea from Starbucks?" Jimmy, I'm judging you. No, it's actually passion tea lemonade, unsweetened. I can't do caffeine, even the amount that's in black tea.
He'll die.
Not quite, but it does jack me up. Let's see. Do you remember what FWIW means?
The straw.
I have to like ask younger
Why
people,
is
like,
there a
what
straw?
Okay, let me look
terms
it up
mean.
real quick.
Like, what does the UWU mean?
Ooh woo. That's it.
What is it for?
It's like an anime thing, I think.
Of course,
That's probably why you wouldn't know.
that's why I don't know.
For what it's worth. Okay, so this person wrote, "For what it's worth, you give off a trying to do better every day vibe to me. You also seem to give the benefit of the doubt that others are as well." I thank you. That's very, very like.
I mean, I think we all are trying. I think we're all trying to do better every day. Like, I don't think that there is a single person in the world who's not like trying to do better every day. But like, there are people who are willing to look at their mistakes and analyze them and try and see the other person's point of view. And there are people who are like, oh, well, I've already decided and I'm not willing. You know, like there's a big difference. And the fact that like you're saying, oh yeah, I give all these people the benefit of the doubt, but you don't give the benefit of the doubt to the people who are in your comments saying, hey, Jimmy, I think this is something that like you need to reassess here. You need to reassess the way that you acted towards Rachel. It's not cool. It wasn't cool. And it sucks because, well, for like people like me, it sucks because I actually really kind of clicked with Jimmy's content a little bit more than I would say that I really clicked with Rachel's content. Yes, I do have more of like a background in literature and stuff like that. But Jimmy's content was like really grabbing for me and I found it really entertaining. And I feel like after this, I will feel bad watching more of Jimmy's videos than I do of Rachel's, you know? And I think that I'm going to be watching less of Jimmy. Yeah. Um, and, and probably more of Rachel, which is kind of ironic considering the fact that he started out that video saying, hey, I think this is going to make Rachel look bad. And it's like, dude, all you did was make yourself look bad. Look like you were a bad friend to Rachel. And it actually made us have a lot of compassion for her. And also, I gotta say, I had been like off on a tangent of like watching all kinds of other content and stuff, and I had kind of forgotten how much I really liked a lot of Rachel's content. So it actually got her back in my views. So I guess thank you for that, Jimmy, for reminding me how great Rachel's content is. And I had just gotten a little distracted. It was a lot of the same. She had gotten to where she was getting really good views for a certain particular type of video, and to me, it was a little bit repetitive there for a while. But yeah, check her out, Rachel Oates, if you're into that kind of thing. I suggest her.
Validating and stuff, because honestly that's all and again, as I mentioned, the thing I've worried about most recently is that I actually went down a hateful rabbit hole and helped other people be more hateful, and I'm like trying to figure out how to do that. And by the way, with all of this,
You did.
I know people are gonna be like, what a hypocrite, he makes fun of people. Fuck yeah, I do, and I'm gonna keep doing it because I absolutely think criticism and mockery and all those kinds of things are totally fine and legitimate. But as far as
Is mockery criticism? Let me know what you think. I personally, I have a feeling that like they're similar. You know what I mean? Like they can have some overlap, but I don't necessarily feel like anytime somebody is mocking you that that's criticism. Also, I feel like a lot of what he says is sort of like punching down in a lot of ways towards other creators when he's like calling people stupid and uneducated, and it's like, well, yeah, like they are uneducated, but not everybody has the privilege to be educated like you.